another Toe Talk Tuesday, Christina. Happy
I love Toe
Tuesday.
Talk Tuesday.
Um, Today we are gonna head to the toes.
Yeah, and I love the little tool that you've made that is going to help us determine what toe we're going to talk about right now.
Awesome. So let's go to. All right, do you see my screen?
I see it.
Yay! Okay, good.
So I love that we have it's going through, and we'll just randomly like click to stop on whatever toe is the one that we'll talk about.
All right, let's give it a try.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
And I love that this is kind of like the oracle cards, like just whatever one comes up is the perfect one.
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
oh my gosh, I love the second toe so much.
Oh, I feel like we end up talking about the second toe on every episode.
We do. We do. And I would love to talk about why I love the second toe so much. So the right second toe. So right foot, that is the external world, how you're moving through the world. And then the second toe is the communication toe. It's the air toe. It's the Mercury toe. It's the throat chakra toe. All right. So I spoke a lot of languages there. Don't worry if you don't get it. But this is something that we love to do is put the different languages in, but it changes fast. If you look only at one toe, look at your communication toe simply because it's air element and because of the nature of communication. Once I say the word, like it's spoken, it's done. There is nothing I can do to pull it back. It's done, and it's so fast. And we know that with a single word, everything can change. Our words are magic. So when we're talking about that right second toe, this is how you're communicating with, like, in the greater world. This is less about what's happening here and more of a reflection of what's happening here and how it pertains to that outside world. So when I look at, and I'll be honest with you, my right second toe has been a little wonky over the last 7 years. It really has. Like, it feels like it changes almost every day. So I can really use it almost like a compass. Like, did I fully express, like in my soul expression out to the world, did I do that today or this week or in this direction that I'm headed? Most of the other toes take a little longer to make any changes to. They're just a little, the elements move just slightly slower. And that communication tone, you can tell so much about where you are and how you're meant to move in your soul alignment in the outside world.
Oh, oh my gosh. I love everything you said. And I also love this toe. And what I love about what you said, on top of the fact that this is a fast that your second toe in general is a fast moving toe, that it changes quickly. I think one of the things that really struck me when we talk about the difference between the left and the right and why it landing on the right is so important is right now where we are in this world, we're really being asked to be intentional and follow in the the four agreements, to be impeccable with our word. That what you say you are going to do, that you do, that we speak in kindness, we speak in empathy, that we, like you said, that once you put your words out there, you can't change it. Like, people are not going to easily forget what you said, because what you say creates this impact in them, this emotion in them, and then their response comes from that place of emotion. And so the more that we take the time to really sit and um, nurture and nourish that second toe and really be in alignment with what words do I want to put out in the world, the more I think we're going to create the change that we wish to see and be um, the higher vibration, the higher version of ourselves. So to me, I've spent a lot of time with my left second toe because I've got a lot of like self-talk that I would like to change. But I'm very conscious right now. And it's also Mercury retrograde. So we were just talking about how communication is in a state where like we need to be slower and more conscientious of what we're putting out there. So it is not a coincidence, I think, that the right second toe is what popped up for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think if that's what we can focus on this week, if we can focus on what are the words that we are speaking out into the world, and are they in alignment with the energy we want to put out there? Are they in alignment with the values we want to put out there? I just think we're going to see in the next week massive change within yourself, within your relationships with others, and that's going to create ripple effects that will go out to the whole world.
Well, it really, really will. So just a little out of the context of Toe Reading Academy, but as an astrologer, and with Neptune moving into Aries recently, the theme I've given this is intentional, intuitive action. And we can do the same thing with our words, because words often precede action, whether it's our own action or the action that someone takes in response or reaction to our words, whether that's spoken or written, as well as our nonverbal communication, which is also, just so important. So intentional, intuitive communication. Think before we communicate. Set the container of your energy and what you're expressing, and just like carrying around with you and spreading around to the world and to the land through our expression. Intentional, intuitive communication. And I would love to thank my second toe on my right foot, because she is the reason why Toe Reading Academy exists. So
thank you, second toe on Christina's right foot.
Right, right. And so I noticed that second toe was really quickly moving out of its usual positioning on my foot, and I started getting fungus under it. I have never been susceptible to or experienced fungus under like toenail fungus. And I know that's a really common presentation, and we should just have a whole toe talk Tuesday about that, because it is such a common presentation, and it is not something that I had experienced. And I just thought, I'm a toe reader, right? So I'm like, okay, let's work with this. And the message that she was sharing with me is, it is time to share toe reading with the world. This is in 2020. And I mean, I've been sharing it. People knew I did it. My friends and family came to me all the time. I had, some readings as a business, but it wasn't something that I was strongly promoting. Just, it was a very casual side project for me. And almost immediately, when I offered my first real workshop, and when I say real workshop, I mean a workshop that I promoted, created, did slides for. This wasn't just a casual, let's gather in your living room and I'll show you this stuff. This was, and I charged for it. My toe, almost immediately after delivering that workshop and leading up to it, started changing. Again, quick changes in that toe started changing. And really particularly since 2020, which was a life-changing year for all of us. And for me, very much in my personal life and career, uh, this is a toe that I look at consistently.
Yeah. It's powerful. It's powerful. And some of the questions um that I think we can ask ourselves, and some of the questions that I hear that you asked yourself, asked your second toe, right, is like, as you're sitting there and massaging that toe and sitting with it, like what are you trying to communicate with me? And in asking that, like, um it's there are questions around like, am I speaking my truth? And right, like, am I what do I want, what do I want to say to others? What am I trying to share that maybe I'm blocking myself from sharing? Um and um and I would even say, um for me, and we've told the story here about my son coming home um from a class trip with a blister on his second toe, and saying to him, like, what was going on when you got that blister? Like, what were you holding inside that was causing you this pain that you really wanted to speak out? So, getting very clear on what is it, if the toe is feeling not fabulous, right? Whether it's fungus, whether
Mhm.
it's a blister, whether it's twisted, whether it's, gripped down, like, really taking that time and massaging it and saying, what do you want to say? What are you trying? Where am I holding myself back from expressing myself? And what do I need to shift and change so that I can express myself freely? Um, and even in the case of my son, like, it was probably better for him in the long term not to say it when he said it, because it would have created issues with classmates, but being able to come home and release that and get it out so that it could be heard. So this is not permission to say whatever you want to say to whoever you want to say, right? It's
Absolutely.
right. It's not like
Intentional, intuitive
intentional. Exactly.
communication.
100%. 100%. Um, Beautiful. The second toe on the right foot.
Yeah.
Sharing share, what do you need to express to the world, and how do you need to express it?
Can I share one other tip?
Yeah, of
So
course. It's Toe Talk Tuesday, Christina. How
it's
could
Toe
you
Talk
not?
Tuesday. So the second toe, when I have the opportunity to interact with someone and I can see their toes, it's summer, we're all wearing, toe exposing shoes, we're at the beach, whatever happens to be. And that is immediately the toe that I intend to focus in on. There may be other things that come up intuitively, and that's where we go. But that second toe, when you are talking to someone, can give you so much information in advance. So, the common presentation of having a second toe that's longer than the first, or that's about equal, or that's shorter. Those are, obviously the three presentations, and just simply length of toe. So that's all that for Toe Talk Tuesday today, we're just going to talk about length of toe. The longer it is, the more that person in their soul aligned self needs to communicate, needs to express. So if you meet someone with a longer second toe, even if it's curved under, like, no matter what like, doesn't matter if it's longer, giving them the opportunity to speak, to be really the one in the conversation that gets to express. Now, that sometimes the shame around that is I talk too much, or I am too much, or if I express fully. So that can be some of the shame on that. So being the safe space, asking the questions, and giving the opportunity and the holding of the space for this person to fully express safely and with as many words as they want, or in whatever format that takes, can be life changing for this person that you're communicating with. And the people that are listening to this, like, I'm just gonna say 100%, and if not, it's very close to that, want to help themselves and other people feel comfortable in this human experience on the planet. And so that gift that you can offer somebody with a longer second toe, and ask the right question, and really the conversation should be very simple and possibly one-sided, and that's okay. In fact, that might be the life-changing moment for that person. If it's equal to, there's just this, like, communication is important, but they're not definitely the one, like the expression of listening and talking will feel more balanced to that person. There's a little bit more of a balance if it's close to the same length. If it's shorter, especially if it's significantly shorter, there's a few different things with that. One, just realize you will be doing most of the talking in that. And we could go into what that means and the psychology, and even get into judgment. Oh, maybe this person really doesn't feel safe to express. Yes, and it's probably generational and ancestral and in the very DNA if there's a significant shortness to it. So they may not be fully ready to. So this is where asking questions, but then giving some of your own backstory on, whatever your conversation is, to help give them permission to speak, but also going into this conversation, understanding you'll be doing the majority of the talking, and that's okay too. Making sure that you're also giving that space. So those are just some of the quick ways that in just that single toe, you can make such a difference in your own life and in the life of someone that you're speaking to.
I love it. So I heard 3 homework assignments. Christina and I are both teachers.
Capricorn moon.
3 homework assignments for those listening. So number 1, just notice your second toe on your right foot this week, and notice what are you communicating what you want to be communicating? Where are you holding in things that you want to be saying out loud? Second one being, notice how long your toe is. Is it prominent compared to the other ones? And how does that reflect with you when you about how you like to communicate with others? And then the third thing is, notice other people's second toe and notice how they communicate with you, and how you can maybe play with communicating with them based on the size of their toe. So notice how you communicate, what you are holding in or saying, and is it in alignment? Are you being intentional? What is the size of your toe, and how does that speak to your communication? And third, what is the size of the people who your toe that you're speaking to, and what is that play when you're having communication with them? So a little experimentation for you this week.
So fun. And please put in the comments anything that you experience with this, anything that comes up where you're like, oh, wow, that was life-changing. That is one of the feedbacks that Marisa and I get all the time. Just that little one tiny tip was life-changing. And I don't think I'm too much of an exaggerator. Like that is, we get that comment all the time.
Yeah.
Reading is life-changing.
Happy to Talk Tuesday, everybody. We will see you next week.